Dear Lord, guide and inspire us with the wisdom to oversee the daily tasks of government. Help us to always set goals for the benefit of the borough. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Swarovski?
Here.
Peterson?
Oh, here.
Mr. Penny?
Here.
Ms. Foley? Mr. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Rafter?
Here.
Mrs. French? Here. Mayor Ferraro?
Here.
Anybody for public participation?
Zero.
Okay, there's nothing for public participation, so I'll move into the president report. I have two thank you cards. Susan McEwen from the library board, her mother passed away a couple weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago. I had Linda send her a planner, and she said thank you so much for the planner sent with sympathy on my mother's passing. It is similar to one I had gotten her for Mother's Day 1 year ago. It meant a lot to me. Thank you, and thank you again sincerely, Susan McEwen and family. And then to thank you for your kindness and sympathy at a time when it was deeply appreciated. Thank you for the beautiful arrangement, and that was the Carr family. And the only other thing I had to report on was Sunday I attended the Eagle Court of Honor for a resident in our borough. His name was Michael Delatour. He's 18 years old, lives at 724 Downess. He received an Eagle Scout award, and I presented him with a certificate for his hard work and dedication to his community. Next week I hope to present him with an official plaque with an eagle on it for him. It was nice to see because there was at least 40 young teenage boys there that are really involved in community service. So that was really impressive to see that many young boys wanting to do better in their community. It was really heartwarming and very impressive. So hopefully Michael will be able to join us next week. If not, he'll be here in March.
Were they all spread out, Sue, or like all over Delco, or what?
No,
what
it's just this troop here, Troop 44, that handles Glen Olden and Fallcroft. Yeah. So it's a very large, very active troop. I was very impressed. Just the fact that the majority were teenage boys that are really involved in doing community service. That shows that things are changing. Kids aren't as destructive as some make it out. Everyone, we always end up seeing the bad in kids because that's all the attention goes on. The attention never goes out to the kids that are trying to make a difference. So it was really, really nice seeing that on Sunday. So, moving on to staff reports. Next week, we will be voting on the 2013-2014 County Aid Resolution, Act 537. Tom Wilkes will be presenting that to us. And good news on the Delmar Drive project. We are actually getting a negative change order, which brings the awarded amount down less than $100,000. And Tom will hopefully have our invoice for us next Tuesday. So that will also be on the agenda next week.
I would call it a positive change order.
Positive means you add money. When I saw,
I'm just saying, you know what I'm
when I
saying.
saw, well, I panicked
doesn't
before.
sound good.
When I first read it, I was like, change order, wait, I didn't see no change order, and then I saw in the negative, I was like, oh, okay, it says we talk change order.
You guys better do it the way you said. It's less.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, wait now.
So I was happy with that. So Tom should have an invoice for us next week. Joe Pacenti didn't have anything to report. He will have our reports for us next week. We'll also be doing our voting on our January bill list, our December bill list, since we didn't get to vote on them last month. Going into old business, I don't have anything. Do you have anything on old business?
No.
When I speak, it's
Larry?
problem. Okay.
Old
What
business
broke now?
computers.
Number 2 boiler motor was overheating. Joe did show up here. He did get it managed running again, but in the letter says that it's on its way out. So just to let everybody know. I came here Sunday. The motor was very hot. It was clicking, but the furnace wasn't kicking on. So, and actually, number 1 motor is the same age as number 2. So we'll have to get this fixed as soon as possible.
Anybody else have old business?
Oh, yeah. For the girls in the office, for them to have off, what are we going by, the school? Or-
Well, I had went by the school the first time, and Mary Ann said I shouldn't, and it
Yeah,
was
but then
under
I
the
thought
impression that we shouldn't go by the
John
school.
said not going by the county because it's surrounding and everything, go with your district.
Okay,
I was just curious,
I-
like
I-
she's
I
got
don't know
ways
what
to
to do.
travel, you know?
to me, if the school closes, I think Borough should be closed. The less traffic on this area, the easier it is for the plow trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the first storm, the school was closed, I said, you know what, close the offices. The
Well, I
last,
said it because I just think because the courts are here and they're attached to Delaware County Court, so I mean, they should, you know what I'm saying? So if
Yeah,
they're
but-
here, we should be here.
but
Yeah,
usually when
well,
the
So if they
schools,
call
but
out,
if the school's
Right.
closed, usually the county closes, so.
yeah.
Right, and the county puts it up to 5 o'clock,
Yeah,
and
the
I'm
court,
sure they're gonna close Thursday.
yeah, the court's closed on the
Yeah,
last
give
one.
them all Thursday.
Now, last storm, they had a 2-hour delay, and they
Can you
didn't show up.
imagine?
Yeah.
I can't imagine the weather
They
being
did
that much
show up.
different in media than it is in Fallcroft. I mean, we're
No.
not talking about a lot of square mileage here.
I mean,
But I have no opinion either way, so whatever you
yeah, I
guys
mean,
decide.
I just figured if the schools were
I have
closed, we would just
She's
close,
there.
we just close the office.
I was just curious, because she came in that, store,
Mhm.
and I said, what are you doing here?
Well,
they
there's
were
other
already-
people that
you
we
were in
work
too.
with, and if they
They all
can't make
were.
it in, I mean, not for nothing, but you gotta take a vacation day.
That's how my
And that's what
company
they
is.
have, I'm sure your company's the same way, so you're a business, that's what I said, you're not a school. And then if you wanna go by the school, then they should be making the days up the way we're making the days up, so, right?
True story.
Exactly.
True story.
So, I mean, that is a true
What are
story,
they
they're
making,
taking days away
three
from
or
us
4
now.
days now?
We might be
So, I
back.
mean, you know what I'm saying, so that's why I said I would just go by what the court and what other businesses do. I mean, did you go into?
I've
Did
been
you
in
have
on
a
every
2-hour?
storm.
Hmm?
I've gone in on every storm, only because
But if you
I-
have to take
Four-wheel
off,
drive's
you gotta
needed.
take,
I have 4-wheel drive, and,
It still
unless it
took
tells
me
you
3
not
hours
going
to get home.
anywhere. I
right,
mean,
like,
you know.
but I've made it in every time it snowed, I made it in, so. Now Thursday I might,
So you have to take. if you
No,
don't
you
go-
just get stowed in.
they come and
Take
pick you
car,
up.
Take my bags with me.
You better
and
have your
stay
bag.
over.
Oh,
That's what
airport
they
days,
expect.
not only do you have to go in, but then they won't
But
let
if-
you leave
but
for
if
3
you-
days.
But if
So
I
then-
do, I have to take
That's how my
vacation
friend
personal.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way I think it
That's how
should be, I
ours is.
think
They
it
don't
should
give
be.
you
My
allowed
friend,
now.
yeah, she'll work 3
So,
They don't
the
give you all.
consensus is we should go with what county says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
So,
just curious,
Yeah.
I'll know 5 o'clock in the morning, do you get notification if the county's closed early in the morning? I know I get the Delco alerts,
Right.
the winter alert, the winter
Oh, yeah,
warning
yeah.
alerts, I
know
get
what you mean.
them.
Yeah, that the snow's coming,
I'm sure you can get one of
or,
But
yeah.
I don't get like
It's
an
usually
alert
on
that the
the
county's
website.
closed, so I guess, okay.
Hopefully this will be our last blizzard.
Huh?
I hope so.
I hope they're
Supposed
wrong.
to be 40s next week. Real heat wave.
Okay, so we'll base it on the county. Okay.
In fact, 46, Larry, Tuesday, we'll be here in shorts, I think.
Yeah, then
Good.
come that Saturday, we'll be, banding down the house again, shoveling.
Any other old business? Moving on to new business, next week we will be voting on a right to know officer. My opinion on that is to make Linda the right to know officer. all the girls pull all the equipment, pull all the paperwork anyway, but Linda could be the one that signs that's, if somebody else has another suggestion, we can bring it up next week. Health officer, Brian's doing a fabulous job, I think he's doing very well. I don't know of anyone else that's certified with the proper certification. So,
Staying with Brian.
yeah, so, I mean, unless somebody knows someone with the certification that the state requires. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just not out
leave
there.
well enough
So,
alone.
and he's more than willing to stay with us. I
Yeah, when I
spoke to him
first saw
about
that,
it.
I thought, oh my God, he's quitting.
Now,
One last appointment.
Carmen asked if we could get you're talking the parking lot across the street, get the parking lot numbered for the permits, because there's people parking there that shouldn't be. And also numbering the parking lot out here, that's not police, that's opened, because there's people parking there also. That if they need to park there, fine, but you're gonna pay for your parking spot. Okay, we're not a storage facility.
Yeah, it is easier for them to give a permit out also. Because I
Right,
think Tony rents them with a permit and they can have a number to their spot.
oh yeah, okay. So
No,
match
not-
the number up with the permit,
Yeah.
Excuse me,
okay?
is the highway responsible then to put the number down on the pavement then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna have to wait till we get
Spring.
right.
at least a warm day or so.
But we can make a map and put the numbers on
Okay,
there,
right.
so, and give it to them with their permit.
Okay.
What do they get for a permit? I mean, do they get something that they like put in their windshield with, like
We
say
need
I'm
a
number
placard.
one?
They get a placard that goes on their
Oh,
dash.
okay.
We're gonna be voting on the highway contract that we negotiated with, back in December. And, do you have that, so I can just like go over some of the details? Okay, so, the only real big change was the, their wage rates. They agreed to zero increase this week, or this year. Zero increase this year, a 1.5 the second year, a 2% the third year, and a 2.5 the fourth year. So it's a 4-year contract. They also added in about, what is it, significant other? Is that what it was called? Yes. Significant other, for,
Domestic partners.
that's it, domestic partners.
And they define domestic partners as two people who have been living together for at least 12 months and are over the age of 18, which is a very neutral definition. And the only benefit that comes to the domestic partners has to do with having leave for absence due to death of a family member. So,
Doesn't, has nothing to do with that benefits or anything like that. So basically, they were the two big things on there, and then they added Martin Luther King Day and Primary Day. And other sections on it were correcting dates and numbers and years on the previous sections that had to be put back into the contract.
It's a pretty fair contract with real modest raises
Yeah.
and all. It's fair on both sides. It's a
Yeah.
good- It's a good contract.
It was they worked very well with us, I think it went very well.
It's a tribute to the week, a lot of towns go to mediation and
I
everything
know.
for these, and they can't come together. And
When
they
I-
realized the benefits that they had and they were willing to.
When I first saw what they were asking, I was very worried, because I didn't know.
Always high,
Always
always
aim
go
high.
high.
Boy, they aimed really high, let me tell you, okay? Because even I've never seen that kind of increase, so. But, yeah, so we'll be voting on that next week. We also have another substitute crossing guard that we'll be voting on. possibly 2, which we're in desperate need of.
Do you have
Um,
names yet, or who are you looking at?
the,
One is,
it's a
Martha-
lady,
Martha Mitchell
Martha Mitchell.
and Marcelina Gentili.
And they've gone through the chief and everything, so he's approved them. Last week, we had 2 crossing guards out, so Linda was kind of scrambling.
I seen Jean Boyle up there one day. I was coming up school late, and I was like, wow, look
Yeah.
at that crossing guard.
So getting 2, it's hard to find substitute
It
crossing
is.
guards,
Did you
nobody
take
really
the
wants
kids
to.
for walking too
Yes,
fast?
Really?
So,
Hope they didn't jaywalk.
So we'll be voting on that. And then I have the library board, 3 positions were up. So we'll be voting on I asked the present ladies that are already filling those positions if they would care to return for a 3-year term, is Pat Kelly, Susan McEwen, and Mindy Isaac. So all 3 of them have agreed to stay on the board and continue for another 3 years, which is great because all 3 of them are a good asset to the board. With regard to the library board, with my job, I'm going to need to step down. They really like the fact that we have a council person going to their meetings and being a part of the board. So I'm not sure who would like to step up on that and be the board member to take my spot for the remaining 2 years that I have. With my work, I got transferred, so I'm not gonna be able to do that. Jason, you
That
would be,
means not it when you do that.
Jason, you would be perfect
I
for the
would not
library
be
board.
perfect. for that. I would be absolutely the opposite of perfect.
So,
What did it entail? Just,
the meetings are every other month.
I mean, it's the same as like,
You did it, right?
I did it as the head of the committee, and I went to the meetings, but
Yeah, the only thing with the board, the only difference with the board is you go to the regular board meetings, which are every other month. You report on what's going on in the borough. And then the DCLS has a meeting every month, and what they do is each month a different board member goes. So it's like, you'll go once, and then 7 months later, you'll go again. And it's usually up at Fair Acres.
It's not on the weekends.
Yeah, it's always a it's the first Thursday of the month, and it's at 7 o'clock. And it's usually fast. I mean, I've been home by 8:15 every time I've gone.
yeah, I always had as representative, I don't.
But
This is enough.
if we don't fill the position, then we'll miss a month. We'll miss 2 months actually of the year, which we'll lose out on our state funding. That's the only problem. So, but with my job, I got transferred down to the University City, and there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to get from there.
That's tough to part. Oh, you gotta believe
Get
it.
from there to, there's no way, my hours have been extended. So I got, as my boss said, dispensation for Tuesdays. Because I was here first, so Tuesdays are fine, but I can't take
Could we,
I
like-
can't leave early.
If 2 of us decide to do it and then we swap off, do you think that would work?
I mean, they
That-
never did it, like, a council person never went to the, like, they were the board,
Yeah.
we only went, like, council only went as the representative to the library.
Mhm.
They did all their Fair Acres meetings and,
Mhm.
you know, amongst themselves, like,
Well, then, if we do, I mean, if we have.
if they'd agree to that, I'll just go to their meetings, or, yeah.
But
I
we're just
can't
saying,
make
and we'll
them, so
still have
you-
to find someone to fill there'll be an empty board seat. So if anybody knows somebody that is willing to be on the board,
And then just have a council person go to the meetings every 2 months.
yeah, and report on what the borough's doing and, you know, if they have any problems, issues. Lisa usually gives a building report or whatever she needs for the borough to do, like if the light's out or something like that, so. Either way, we need to fill the vacant board
Maybe
seat.
we can kick it around with them, they'll say, they're the ones that'll say, you know, I know this one, right?
Yeah, so the next meeting is in April,
Or
or
my book's not due yet, I got 2
March.
weeks yet.
the next
Maybe when I
meeting's
go
in
in there,
March.
I'll,
They try to
Good
get,
library, I know.
yeah, I got 2 books in there.
they,
I got sports.
Excuse me?
The next meeting is third Wednesday. The next meeting, I believe, is March 19th, and it's at 6:30. So, I can tie everything down by Tuesday of next week. I'll send an email out to them, to the ladies also, asking if they know somebody that wants to be on the library board.
If you do hold the room down, I give them that.
That's all I had. Does anybody else have anything?
I have new business.
You always
Jason,
have
you
new
want to go
business.
first?
Jason has new business?
Go ahead.
Alright, I was gonna say mine's easier, probably. I just sent out the $1,000, deposit for the carnival again. It's gonna be the 8th to the 12th. Day
What
April.
of April,
People what?
8th to the 12th. They sent it out so we could, man our spot, and since it was a pretty good money, for the racket, it turned in pretty good.
For good weather.
I know, right? Hey,
Yeah.
the last time we really lucked out on that one day was really not so bad. So.
Geez, this is,
Carnival's always in April, if you like.
Yeah. But it brought in good revenue and it was good. So. And then
were you looking at any other dates or?
no, they kind of gave me that.
Oh, they gave it to
Yeah,
you?
they kind of said,
Okay.
sorry, Fallcroft, this is only your second year doing
Well, they
it.
probably look too to
Switch
see
again.
where their competition is. Like,
Yeah.
if there's one
Well,
here,
remember,
they
we
probably
split with
look-
Folsom last year, and I think we still did really well for competing with Folsom.
Mhm.
We still, we're getting $6,000. And then my only other thing was, I would like to do a newsletter, kind of, I guess, quarterly, but by March I want to get something out, and I figure if anyone has anything that they want in the newsletter, say we have some health fair, anything that we're on that we want the residents to know about, and then also whatever residents say are having a flea market and they want it in there, I'll get it out.
Is this for council or the rec?
This is just
For Fallcroft,
for
in general.
Fallcroft,
Okay.
yeah. I just kind of figure out,
Have we ever considered like doing like a calendar of how other towns have it, and then they have the businesses on there and they have all the, numbers and of
That's
county,
the map-
everything.
The map that we sent out.
Like Norwood has
The
one, Ridley
business, that
has
didn't
one.
cost us a dime.
I mean, a lot of people were
Yeah.
asking me, and they, you put it right on your refrigerator,
The
and there's
woman
all the
came
numbers
out.
there.
The woman,
Yeah,
remember
that's not
the
bad.
Yeah.
the woman came out, she went to the businesses, got the money, and basically they put it out, it didn't cost us a
I mean, I
dime.
have a
Now, she
sample
said
on
we
it now.
could do, do we have any left? No, probably not.
We do.
I don't know if her name or if there's
But
a
would you
contact
do better
on there.
with the calendar?
No, she mentioned the
Oh, she
calendar.
does that
Yeah,
too?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said, if there's a number on there, call them and, well,
Sure.
what are you gonna do for us? But she went out and solicited all the businesses, they put their cards on there.
Like a no trash pickup this day or
Right.
whatever. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, these residents would love that.
Love it.
Just read that page.
and then maybe just seeing it.
So,
Put it in the fridge.
I'm done.
I'm gonna ask you, John, I don't know if you
Good
know
idea.
about this. I just wanted to bring this up. This is just a little piece of new business that maybe we can focus on or kind of pay attention to. It seems like our friends in Harrisburg are trying to pass legislation where they don't want smaller boroughs and towns like us to be able to negotiate contracts like we did with the highway, and they wanna take the power away. It just seems funny to me that they talk about small government until small government starts to do stuff, and then they wanna take the power away from it. I know that the city of Philadelphia, and this is where I want to bring it in, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they put a resolution out to kind of counteract that. I don't know how much that could hold up if they decided to pass something on a state level, but I think we should discuss putting together some sort of resolution that says, this is our town, and, we have a council set up and we're capable of taking care of our own business, and we don't appreciate the state kind of coming up with things like that. You kind of know what I'm talking about, Joe?
I do.
Jason, who do they think's gonna do this?
They do. Basically what it is that they feel like smaller towns and boroughs and I guess even in the city of Philadelphia, aren't capable of sitting down and giving out paid holidays and things like that. I don't understand it, because we just went through this and had a contract negotiation that's fair. I think that there's no way anyone could look at that contract that we just did and said that it was some sort of like taking care of our buddies kind of thing. None of that happens. But they want to take that power away
Oh
from
my
us.
goodness.
There've been a number of proposals made in Harrisburg with regard to negotiations between parties, between governmental units, and unions. And I think that's really where it comes from, a desire to weaken unions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can get that resolution, I can get some other materials on it, and we can actually drafting an ordinance.
I don't know if it would have teeth, John, but it's something I think is basically,
At least it's in
Looking
place.
into,
it's our town and we don't appreciate people from up at the state level telling us that, you know, we can't do our jobs. I think we're doing a fine job here. So,
I'll try and get something together for next week.
and the other piece of new business, I'd like to have this, Sue, put on the agenda next week to be voted on. Larry brought it up again today about, you know, the boiler systems. Every month, Larry has to sit here and tell us how much time he had to spend up here dealing with all the issues we have with this building, with the heat system in the gym, and to be honest with you, it's become a part-time job for Larry. And I don't know, Larry, if you're gonna take that committee again over the next 2 years. I don't know what he's gonna do with that, but I gotta tell you something. There isn't, I don't think, another council person on here that could donate that kind of time. I mean, we're part-time council people, and we donate all the free time we have, but something like this deserves the attention of someone that can actually be here, that's responsible for this kind of thing. And I think we need someone here that could actually do some preventative maintenance. We have access to a workforce in the highway department that could be doing things like this. And again, I think Linda does a good job managing it. I think Sue, you do a good job managing it. But with the way that this building's just deteriorating, I think we need to, as well as the group we've put together, have someone that's focused on this and all the other facilities we have around here, the library and everything else. So I'm gonna put, it's a little background on why I came up with this. I'd like to put this forward. It's a job posting. I'm gonna read you a description on what I kinda came up with. We can vote on it next week. You guys can discuss it after I read it, tell me your thoughts or whatever. But this is kind of what I came up with, I think would be helpful to the borough. Basically, it would be a building and properties manager. And the job description would be to maintain all borough-owned properties, oversee operations, repair, and preventative maintenance of all facilities. And Sue, I will email a copy of this, you don't have to write this all down. And I apologize for not having a hard copy.
She's
I
starting
will
to
absolutely get that to you.
shorthand.
Preventative maintenance of all facilities. Identify, instruct highway maintenance crew on any repairs needed for the upkeep of borough property. Schedule, accept bids, and prepare bids for council's approval for all repairs outside the scope or skill set of the highway department. Work with historical committee to identify all properties, buildings, and landmarks that may be considered historic by state or federal standards. Apply for grants or assistance provided by the county, state, or federal government for repairs, upgrades, or beautification of borough property. Work with and attend meetings of the committee established to develop a plan for Borough Hall. And then I have the building and property manager will also work with the code enforcer to ensure that mandated repairs have been completed to residents' homes. Now, what that means is, it's just someone else that can make sure, after we give out these citations, that they're following along with it. It's just another, it's kind of another layer of making sure that the quality of life stays good in Fallcroft. That's kind of why I added that one, if anyone was wondering. And other ordinance and code enforcement related issues. The building and properties manager will directly report to the borough manager and borough council. And I'll set that up to you. I'd like to advertise that job at about 24 hours a week to start, to see how it goes. And looking at other property managers and their going rates, I think a fair rate for that would be $16.75 an hour. The reason I came up with that number, that would be about $400 a week and under $21,000 a year. So it's trying to keep the burden down. But I gotta tell you, even though it is a financial burden, I think it's something that we need, and we could absolutely take advantage of this person. And I'd like all the council people to consider it over the next week. And if you guys have any questions,
When you send that email out,
yeah,
can you put all that financial information on it
I will.
so that Joe can inform us properly next week if this is doable?
Okay, I will.
Okay.
No problem. And I'll give everybody a copy of it.
Hey,
I'm
Jason.
sorry I didn't do that before.
Also, this person, will he be able to be
Or she.
hands-on if there's, problem where you gotta
Well,
help
here's
out
the
with
thing
them?
with hands-on, Larry. Here's where you come into a little bit of a problem with it.
It's
I don't wanna
sure.
run into a problem where they're doing the scope of work that is covered under the highway. I think if you're telling me turning levers or simple basic things, and the highway has a problem with that, I'll go to bat with that all day long. But to go out with the highway and cut grass, no, I don't think this person would be that person. I think they would be more of a supervisory role, where they kind of tell them what to do. They figure out whether or not they can do it, and if they can't, they'll accept bids for things, or they'll find people who can. But Larry, as far as simple tasks, that's not a problem. But if it invades on their scope of work, that could be a little bit of an issue.
Would that be a property manager for the borough?
It would be, but the reason I even put that in there about the code enforcer, Carm, is because, if there's an instance where, driveway time is coming up, right? And you're gonna be writing driveway tickets all over the place, we know. And we know that coming up, that coal patch is a nightmare for the girls that sit in this office. That's something that the property manager should be keeping an eye on.
He'll order the patch.
They'll order
and-
the coal patch, that kind of thing. That to me is in the same vein. So if you're right now 30 tickets for driveways, I think someone else could give you a hand on making sure that that's getting done. And if it's not, sending you back out there. I also think that this person, if there's a flood, if there's a pipe burst up here, that person should be on call and have the ability to come in here and take care of that situation. Because lucky for us, we had Larry for the last 2 years. That's a luxury we may not have forever. Now, to be honest with you, I don't think it's fair to expect it of Larry. I think he hit a home run on this thing, but I don't think there's many other council people that will be able to keep up with that, with their workload. We're all busy people. So they would be able to do that as well. It's up for discussion on obviously the mayor shows up when there's oil spills and things like that. I think that this is someone that you could say, hey, is this person available? Linda, what do you have her doing? Can she do it? And Linda will be able to direct her to help out in situations like that as well, for logistical stuff when Linda can't leave the office. I think there's a lot of things this person could do, to be honest with you.
But they don't have to be able to fix a heater and air
No,
conditioning.
I really don't.
They have to just call the person to do it.
No, then you'd be looking more at like a handyman thing, and I think
That's what I
that
thought
we
you meant.
already have the highway people, and I think that they should be our handymen. So this is different from that, and I think it's also, and the problem is, it's like a two-tier, you want kind of a balance, and I thought about that, Carm, but I also want someone that's going to be able to apply for grants, going to be able to attend the meetings of the planning commission on what we're gonna do with this, with this building, because this is gonna be something that we're gonna have to look into. And it'd be nice to have someone that's gonna be able to do logistics, if we have to have the police department move, something like that. Guess what? This is someone that can handle them logistics. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for good things that could happen.
So say we had a flood in the elevator, for instance, last week, and Linda went crazy, I wasn't here, but this person would just take over on hands.
Well, now this person would report to Linda for
Okay.
number one. This is gonna be a borough employee. But yeah, Linda could say, I need you to handle this situation while I handle what else I got going on. Because, look, Linda has a regimen,
I
which she
think
has
it
to
would
do
be a
every
good
day.
help for them.
And something like that, Linda probably ruins your whole day,
And highway.
you know?
A little bit. Bob had to get out of bed. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, he told me at work, is the elevator gonna catch fire? I said, no, go pull the main line. Main
Another
line wasn't
person
pulled
kinda
in
giving them a
time,
boot in the
cost
tush
us
isn't a bad thing either.
$1,000 for
Yeah,
a new start.
we just replaced that part too last year.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Water and 220 don't mix,
Yep, oh yeah, no, that's not good.
especially when you go in the ground.
Okay, so you're gonna send us everything on that,
Yeah,
too? Okay,
absolutely.
it's a good idea. I never thought of.
Does this mean I don't have to caulk the windows this spring?
Yes,
Larry said, I vote
Larry. So, you know what, Larry? I get to tell Sharon
No,
she'll
she
have
was-
a lot of extra time when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
here.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
should get bigger.
There
My
goes
wife, she drove by when I was up on that ladder and she just said, "Where were you today?" I was up on the ladder. I've seen
How
it.
much more you have?
It's pretty close to building, yeah, it is. But I think you're getting more, I mean, listen, I don't wanna open up a can of worms, this isn't about that at all.
What I'm
But
saying
I
is
think
there's
your bang for
salary
your buck
already in there.
is gonna
So
be
what are you
more.
adding? You're not adding that much more.
No, that was about
For this person.
14,000, Sue, right?
Yeah.
This
Right.
would come in just under
So
20,000.
you're adding another
Yeah,
6 or
6
7
grand.
grand, that's all.
So you're most of the way there, but like you said, I'm sure
That's
Joe
what I'm
can give us a
saying.
good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna blindside Joe with having to finagle something
If he can't make
if he
it
can't
happen.
make it. I mean, we
Yeah.
have, we have a lot of repairs that have been happening that I'm sure he wasn't, I mean, he is a nest egger when it comes to squirreling money away.
One other thing before we leave.
I'm not done yet, Larry.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, apologize.
We had talked about the building code, the building code enforcer replacing. So is it gonna be in our packets, the code enforcer company?
Yes.
So in your packets will have the code enforcer company that sent us, their proposal.
Okay.
It's Commonwealth Code Enforcement, Commonwealth, I think that's what it's called, Commonwealth Code Enforcement, I forget. So that'll be in your packets too, for us to look over and, tear apart. Anything else I have? Okay, Larry, you can talk now.
Before we leave, we are hopefully not gonna get a big storm, but I have a feeling we will. I just wanna let everybody know, we do have one of our trucks are down. So it leaves us one.
What's wrong with it?
The bed of the truck is completely rotted. The spreader is gone, okay? That's also made out of iron. We have been getting problems getting salt. Okay, thanks to Linda and helping out, trying to find salt, because right now the states is buying the salt off left and right. So they must know more than what we all know, but anyway. We did have to spend a little bit more on the salt, okay, but we have plenty of salt. Now, we're supposed to get some more salt tomorrow, right? Right, Linda? Yes. Okay. With the truck problem, Linda called Bucky Franks, said he also will give us salt, okay?
And Buck give us a truck.
And Bucky said he'll give us a truck if we need it, okay? Now, I will have Tony on speed dial if this thing gets any higher than what they expect. But I think once we start pushing that 12 inches or so, I think we need to start thinking about, calling Tony up and asking for some assistance, all right? So
What's
we
he
don't
charge an hour?
I'm not sure. I can't remember the contract we had. What was that, 2 years ago we signed the contract with Tony? I'll have to look at my files. Yeah,
But then
'cause
if you
it-
declare a state of emergency,
Yeah, well,
then
you see, now we
can
did with Danny.
get some of the money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did,
Danny-
like when we declared the state of
And I'm
emergency on
sure
the last
Thursday will
storm,
be,
Yes.
yeah.
we have to give Danny the invoice and he'll get us
Yeah,
reimbursed.
and Danny
Right,
White said, yeah,
right.
get all the materials, the salt, the time for the plows, the guys. He wasn't sure exactly the amount that we get back, but he said he thought it was 75%.
Right.
So, as long as we have all the receipts and all, and I gotta thank Tony for helping us out, because it gave Danny some time to get some rest time, because he was up around until 2, and then he went to bed, and they got back up around 6 in the morning and continued back on. So, and I think what was that, I think that bill, I just signed it, was like $2,000, something like that, for him to be up from 4 p.m. to 4 in the morning or so, and then Danny's got rest, and then Danny came back out. Okay? So,
What did he work, from 2 to 4?
from 4 p.m. to like 4 in the a.m., something like that. So,
What was it, 2,000?
yeah, it was like 2,000. Right?
167 an hour.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
using his equipment and material, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And actually, I
if
think
you
they
get
did,
75% back,
yeah, and they did use our salt because Danny threw some of the salt in her truck to spread as they go on, because they had both pickups. Big, ton and air pickups, and they went side by side, so, you know, they went up the road and just pushed the snow up against the road, okay? So, but I just think, I'm hoping and I'm praying that we don't get a lot, but something tells me we are.
I was in Phoenixville last Tuesday
Exactly.
after that little storm we had Monday. It was a disgrace. They had 29 and 23 were clear. The town itself was an absolute disgrace. Thank God I got four-wheel drive in my pickup, because you couldn't get around. And they had plowed. It was unbelievable.
well, they said towns are out of salt, towns don't have
Yeah.
the money to buy the salt.
Just the way they
It's
plowed
bad.
though, it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing is, the county and the state are buying up all the salt for the main
Well, the main
highways.
roads are,
And what they're going to do is if you run out of salt, they're gonna turn around and they're gonna say, okay, well, we have a large amount of salt, we'll sell you some.
Yeah, right.
And they're gonna jack the price through the roof, so you buy it from the state, and then the states make money.
High demand, Larry.
yeah,
They got it.
It's unbelievable.
yeah, they do, they have this.
Carmen Gerace, he keeps plowing all his snow over to the sidewalk.
Yeah, we
Our
weren't sure about that. We talked about that the other day. I didn't know if Danny knew to plow it, and then we talked to Danny, and Danny said he thought that it was Therese putting it over, but I'm gonna go talk to him.
Yeah, tell him he has to stop, and I told Linda to call community action to keep that sidewalk shoveled.
Because that's a
Because
lawsuit.
That, we've already had one lawsuit with that sidewalk a couple of years ago.
And
So-
also across the street from the shopping center, I actually called the real estate
Okay,
because twice I had to call them, so I wanna put something in paper, cause I heard somebody fell there, but I called them and told them that the kids were walking in the middle of the street to get to school. So he has
Yeah, they were.
an update now that he has to have that done
okay.
as soon as it starts snowing.
Yeah, these girls, they were in the street in Delmore driving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to work, I'm like, this is not safe.
Yeah, they plowed one side of the shopping center and they didn't plow the other side where that grass is. But
And that
now I
little
found
field
out that
area,
they don't own
they're not owned by the same people.
no more.
And what's happening with that shopping center? Being in sheriff, do we know what's going on? That's a big chunk of full growth down there.
Yeah, but, I mean, how many stores are there? I mean, there's,
Yeah, beneficial's
I
sweating.
think they
out.
got more stores
We
closed
gotta
than
do
they got
something
open.
about that shopping
I know.
center. We really do.
Start renting space out here. Tell benefits.
We got a hole upstairs yet.
Yeah, but no,
Do you wanna read my, about the dumpsters? Do you just wanna make an
We
ordinance?
have one.
We will.
We have this ordinance on dumpsters.
Let's look again before.
It was with something else.
Is this in the
Yeah.
front yard?
Okay.
Any dumpsters on the street, they're not allowed.
They're in
unless
the
they-
yeah, on
Yeah, they have to.
Ravenwood.
They have to have permits.
Permit. I think that's
weren't we giving them permission
30
for like
days.
2 days or something?
2
I think
weeks.
it's
2 weeks.
With the
Okay.
permit.
2 weeks?
With
I think it's
the
like
permit.
$75 a dumpster.
Yeah,
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 that was passed
What-
last year.
yeah,
yeah,
yes, it
it's an
was.
ordinance.
Yes.
Or is it a resolution?
No, it's an ordinance. It's,
Same way with the pods.
It is, yeah, we
Yeah,
did
I
something.
think that was under the same,
I'll have to go through my ordinance.
Under the same
But we did,
contract.
we passed it last year.
You're clicking these.
We both
Yeah.
need a cigarette.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Driving me nuts.
That's what it is. Is that what it is, Bob?
Yeah.
I'll look through my ordinances, hopefully I can find it. Yeah, I forget which one it was. It had to do with,
It does have to do with that stuff.
it had to do with,
the pods and the dumpsters.
yeah, but it was in with another ordinance.
So they in with the trashers?
Yes, the junkers, the
Yeah.
trash.
It is
Yeah.
with the jumpers?
It's with the
Yeah.
junkers.
I
That's
told
what
that
it
and
is.
read the whole thing. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's like, it's on the second page. It's on the second page of it.
Yeah,
I only have the first page.
Yeah, there's 2 pages to it.
yeah,
Okay.
because it covered pods, dumpsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it gave the amount of the fine, and if they didn't get a permit, and then the permit was, I believe, 75. It depended on the size of the dumpster. either $50 or $75.
Well, I'm gonna knock on the door then of Ravenwood and tell them that they don't have a permit.
Yeah, because Linda she didn't fill out a permit for it.
No, I checked with her.
Yeah, because that was the same time the fire was on top of Taylor. And they asked about putting the dumpster there while he cleaned the
Right.
fire out of the house, you know.
And I found a lot of pods in the back in the driveway, on the grass, like it's shit. They're
Yeah.
just planted there.
Linda's gonna be sending the packets out tomorrow because of the weather. Since we don't know what Thursday, Friday is gonna bring us. Yeah, Linda has them to put in the
Okay.
packet.
What, on the library?
Yeah.
Find a board member, I'll go to the
Do you have a
meetings.
copy of it?
I seen it on the. It's like, it's me and the girls for recreation.
Highway and sewer is, Jason's the chair, Michelle and myself are on the committee. Building properties, Larry's the chair with Jason and Mary Ann. Building and zoning, Michelle's the chair with Lauren and Larry. Ordinances, Lauren is the chair with Larry and Mary Ann French. What are you
Okay,
laughing
which
about?
one was that?
Me?
Ordinances.
Michelle's, she's just like, huh?
Recreation is Christine, Mary Ann, and Michelle. Police is Christine, Larry, and Jason. Library, Lauren Foley's the chair with Christine and Mary Ann. Finance is myself.
Wait, she's the chair? She has to go to meetings then.
Huh?
She has to go to meetings, chair's supposed to go to meetings.
That's up for the three dudes to decide, it's not me. Finance is myself, Christine, and Jason. Insurance is Mary Ann is the chair, Lauren and Christine. Health and sanitation, Michelle is the chair, Christine and Lauren. FEMA is Christine as chair, Larry and Jason. And then we created a fire/loan for the fire department, for the truck and all. Christine's the chair with Larry and Jason. Who was it that told me the chief wants a car?
What? You had a car.
Fire chief, fire
fire
chief,
chief.
fire
I meant the
chief,
chief.
fire
Okay, wait, did he
marshal,
just get a
fire
car?
marshal's asking for a car, I'm sorry. Of course he'll be shot down,
The
but,
fire marshal's asking for a car, is he?
yes.
Tell him when we give him the one this year that they burn up, he can try to get it into a vehicle he can drive.
I know they'll probably be coming for us for a truck, as they've done for the past 2 years.
Brian.
We need to look at things.
Swerve was in an accident, so that's gonna be out of commission for a while when it gets fixed. Yeah,
Who had the accident?
No.
I don't know who it was.
Please don't say my father.
No,
It was
no,
EJ.
No,
Blank?
Yeah.
no. Who was it?
EJ.
EJ. How long is it gonna be out of?
It's
How
actually
much
not
Probably.
been in the shop yet.
Yeah.
Tom was holding it out
Don't-
until
Can't really tell because there's a lot of damage on the inside of it, but from the outside, I'd say probably
Where is it, from the front,
the side.
the side? What did they
He was
hit?
turning and hit a pole, and kind of bent the frame of the outside of it.
Did he get suspended?
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's amazing. We'll have to ask about that, Bob. Why wasn't he suspended? Our insurance premium is gonna go up. My dad hit the side of the garage going in, he got suspended for 30 days. Sorry, but you do damage to property, you need to be suspended. You shouldn't be allowed to drive.
Well, I'll tell you what, don't worry about the firehouse, because next Tuesday, now the wrestling's over, Jason Lee Wiggins Jr., who's 14 years old, will be up there, he's gonna straighten everything out up there. I'm sending him in, he's gonna start his volunteer firefighter status next week, so he's looking forward to it.
Now, are the police due to
Congratulations.
get another
Yeah,
car?
yeah.
I'm sorry?
The police, are they due to get another car too?
Yeah, I think so. I think Joe put that in the budget.
Yeah, a lot of the cars are, got some A lot of miles on it.
Yeah.
A lot of miles.
One's an '06.
Well, that van, I get a kick out
Oh,
of
the
it.
van.
The van.
You gotta keep that kind of way, you gotta keep that thing.
When I come over here
That's
on a
a
weekend and
tradition.
check
I
on
don't know who they're
check on the
chasing with
building
that
or
thing.
something,
That's a
every
classic.
day they're out here jump starting this thing.
I know, I saw,
Yep.
Douglas was out there checking tonight.
And one day it was running, I
Okay,
said,
any
"What
other
is it?"
business?
So this information you sent me, the storm recovery
Oh, yeah,
safety, I
okay.
guess I just bring it up at next week, I mean, cause there's nobody here,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I would.
Has
Yeah.
anybody got the forms from Keystone for the?
I did,
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
know.
just a
Refund.
form you would take to your
because my company was
account,
taking
right?
out 1% all year, so I got a
Wait, they just
refund.
gave it to you? Or did you have to?
I just got my mail.
Like,
That's
you
okay.
have to fill out your form.
Oh,
And you bring it
just
to
got
your
like
tax
a-
return,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you bring it to
Oh,
the
that's what
tax
you do.
guy,
You
right?
take it to your tax guy?
Oh, I did it myself. It's very simple to fill out.
Yeah, I do
I
my
just got
own,
the Keystone form
but I just got
yesterday.
my,
Yeah, I got my Keystone yesterday, and I'm getting a refund.
oh, I know, I am.
Oh, I am too, I will.
Because my company
You have
took
to
out
fill that
1%
out.
all year. It's like I'm getting a nice little bonus check. So,
Can I
Yeah,
make a motion
they took
to
it out,
adjourn?
so-
yes, you can, Jason. Do I have a second?
Second.
Back in there.
City meeting is adjourned.
Favorite motion, Steve.